Welcome to Albion TV presents the AO Daily Show, your source of real news in an unreal world, keeping you up to date on the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion Online. Today is Thursday, the 22nd of August, and I am your host, Shozen. And with me today, as always, my co-host, Bogul. How are you doing today, Bogul?
Good morning, Shozen. I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm glad to see we have some mods in chat to take care of Funstealer, who's on a tear this morning. He started early today. They've gone early today, Bogle. I don't know what's going on. What's in the water today, Bogle?
In the water, I don't know. Did Funstealer drink the wrong water?
He might have. He might have gotten up on the wrong side of the bed today. All right. Never go full Funstealer.
But what's on today's show? Shozen.
Oh, let's see. We have what we have every Thursday for you, Bogle. We have market watches. We have PSAs. We have no official news. But mostly we're going to have the market watch.
Okay. So, it's still a quiet week while your chat is going off, by the way, in the background. The people at SBI seem to be either hard at work or hard at partying at Gamescom. One of the two. We're not quite sure which one it is. But there are no official news. So we are skipping that part of the show today. We only have a few PSAs, reminders for you guys.
We have some PSAs, yes.
First off, we have a message from Fuss. Shozen, you want to take that?
Yeah, Fuss TV, Fuss, the great Fuss, if you will, who is doing a lot of play testing for the game, is looking for more GVG teams who would be interested in doing play tests. Usually they are about 1930 UTC, and he's looking for people who can sign an NDA. I know that's hard to do. Be willing to not break that NDA. Super hard to do. And then play a few GVGs and let people know what they think about it. So if you can do that, which really isn't too hard, and you can get together that 5-man GVG team, doesn't even have to be any good, contact Fuss TV, pound 40408, and he'll try to help you guys get involved with the NDA playtesting.
Yeah, and I think the other condition is that you need to be able to bring a whole team. That's the other condition.
Yeah, you have to bring a full 5-man team.
Yeah, Fuss is the playtest admin, so for those of you who don't know. Okay. You're teleporting around. What are you doing?
I was trying to check something out, and there's nothing where this guy was, so he told me to go somewhere, and apparently it's not where he is. He's telling me to go watch somebody else. I'm not going to go watch somebody else's fight. If you're the one who's fighting, I'll hop on you, because then it's like you're the one streaming. But if you're telling me go somewhere else and look at the fight, I feel a little uncomfortable about that. I don't want to go look at somebody else's fight. That's like cheating.
Okay. Yes, we don't do this on this show. We don't help you get information that you couldn't get otherwise.
Yes, we do. That's the whole point of the show. To give you information you couldn't get otherwise, but not to allow you to stream snipe people.
I guess that's what I was saying.
Yeah. But Bogle,
let's move on to the market.
Yes, we have market week, and today is auction week over here in Carleone and every other city. People are out there buying their properties, bidding away, and we wanted to give the little PSA. Yep, it's this week. Get your bids on. And how has the bidding system changed, Bogle? Because I know there's been some recent changes in the bidding system.
It has not changed.
Oh, well, they're upcoming. How can I say this? They aren't implemented yet. They're coming in the next one, right? Next cycle. Yes. How are these new changes going to be taking effect? But they're not in yet. They will be taking place next.
That's important.
Yes.
For those of you who might have missed it, there is an upcoming change to the auction system. But the reminder here on this show for this week and the show today is that this is not happening in this cycle. It's happening in the next one. That's September 15th. So right now you still have the old system where you can bid on these plots, and your bid will automatically be leveled to the appropriate size. And if you are the owner of the bid, of the plot, your bid counts double. And if you want to take it, you have to bid a little bit higher.
It was a little convoluted there, but basically it's a blind bidding auction system where if you bid the most, your bid will count for 1 silver more than the second highest bid. That's currently the way that it works. So you can bid 100 million. If the second highest bid is 75 million, you'll be 75 million and 1 silver. If it's 40,000, you'll be 40,000 and 1 silver. So you will be able to bid hugely high prices and only have to worry about paying as much as the guy underneath you is willing to bid.
Right. Yes.
And if you own the plot, your bid counts double.
And I guess what we were saying also as well is that this system that we have the last cycle as of now will be changing to a new bidding system in next month, where you actually have to pay
what you bid.
That bid that you win the plot with. Yes. But let's look, Shozen, at the gold price.
Gold price. Do we have that cha-ching that we used to have? Where's that Albion Informer cha-ching that we used to have that, used to be so popular with the kids?
What? Popular with the kids? I think we have to make a soundboard, Shozen.
I think we do too. I think that's going to be one of our weekends where we both have off. We'll go and spend some time making a soundboard.
But right now, the price in Carleon, if you buy gold, it's up to 2,700 roundabout. It has been growing steadily from a average of 4 weeks ago at about 2,400, with spikes in the last 24 hours hitting 2,725 even. That I saw just a while ago, and it's been a ride.
Yeah, it's going
growing
up.
Steadily,
yeah, we were talking about that quite a bit before the show, actually, about how consistently things have been going up. It's been each week we've noticed about a 10% increase on the previous week. It's been pretty kind of ridiculous. We're like, wait, what's going on here? And it's only been for about 3 weeks that we've seen that, and it's been there was, if you go back, I think it's 7 weeks ago, we saw the last dip in the market. So for a while, almost 2 months now, it's been a consistent increase in gold. So if you are looking for a consistent 10% increase, go ahead, get yourself some gold and just hold on to it. Hold on, and everything will be okay.
That's like you're saying what's going to happen in the future.
I don't. But just like any reasonable market watch guy on MSNBC or one of those other channels, when things are going in a direction, I just keep telling you to go in that same direction. I don't know when it's going to go down. It could go down. Like, people are making money on the short sales right now. Like, if you look at like the last 24 hours, there's been some spiking. It's been going up and down. You can abuse that market, but just use it as a constant, steady increase. It's been pretty consistent, other than, when free-to-play came in, we had the drop. We had one guy shortly before that try to sell a whole crap ton of gold and really change the market for a day, but that was fixed. But, yeah, there's a consistent
I just wanted to caution people that we are not predicting the future.
I am.
You're saying this based on the trend of the last 3 weeks, and we're not saying that it will go.
Here's my prediction, Bogul. Next week, 1 month of premium will cost 7 million silver.
Right now, it's 6,850,000, and the 12 million silver price is at 52 million for 12 months. Yeah. Do you know why, Shozen? Because I don't.
I mean, there's the very basic, buy low, sell high thing going on now, where we have just more silver coming into the market than we have leaving the market, or gold coming into the market, so it's causing a slow increase. There are many factors, individual factors that go into that can change that at any time. It all works in concert together. I don't want to get too much into it because people will both say, no, you're wrong, and I might start talking about things that are as we were talking about before, Bogul, I have some very strong feelings on the long-term market values, and I don't want to get too much into that. What do we call? We say that gets rid of the immersion of the game. It's like,
I see.
Yeah, I prefer to like look at it at the short term, look at the little things. Yes, there's more silver in the market than gold right now, so it's currently going up at about 10% per month, and has been consistent that way for about 7 weeks. So enjoy that and make your 10% profit month to month. Ha. But yeah, there will be things in the game that I believe will be fairly large disturbances in the market coming up. I do not know what that will do because, like I said, everything working together kind of makes this steady growth happen. And as soon as you take out one of those pillars, things can change drastically. Either it can cause gold to double, or it could go down by 40%. You don't know until things really start to happen. And we do know that there are big things on the horizon, but I would say that you're good for the next 2 months to just continue making your 10%. That would be my...
You think?
Yeah.
You think?
I think so.
That's a bold prediction. Okay. I always withhold any predictions because I just don't want to be the guy giving advice to anybody, especially since people might misunderstand this as quote-unquote official advice.
Yeah, it's not official.
So I always withhold.
I'm going to give some official advice. Bogo, I told you earlier today about what I saw in global chat yesterday, right? And I was just like, this is ridiculous. And I started going, no, this is bad advice. Please buy premium. I heard in global chat yesterday that premium is unnecessary and only needed for the hardcore players who spend all their time playing the game. And I was like, no! The less amount of time you play this game, the more you need your premium so that the time that you're here is more effective. And I was called a shill, being told I'm just trying to make my money by selling premium. Bogle, I don't make my money by selling premium. I make my money when you guys stay in the game over a long period of time. I want you to stay in the game. And I worry that if you don't buy premium, the game will be even harsher than it is now, and then you will leave. It's not me trying to say, oh, give me that $10 for your premium, buddy. I'm going to, go sit in my corner and count my dimes. No, it's not that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to say, if you want to make the game easier for you, if you want to have a better time playing this game, my advice to you is buy premium. I don't care if you buy it with your silver, with your credit card, with your mom's credit card. I don't care how you get your premium, but it makes your life easier. And it's the most basic, simple advice that any player could give to another player. And when I hear players saying no to new players, don't buy premium, you don't need it, the worst advice I've ever heard.
There's
maybe there's
half
worse
an
advice.
edge case, right? There's maybe if you already have a purely PvP alt that does nothing but log in once a month and gank for 5 minutes, probably for that one you don't need it. But if you're doing any sort of crafting, regular farming,
faming, anything at all that requires you to spend actual time in the game, then there's just no reason not to get premium unless you just play it like it's LoL. If you only play this game like it's League of Legends and you come in and you 5v5 and that's it, and you are super good and you can just roll Hellgates and get all the gear you ever need through Hellgates, then you don't need it. But for the normal player, the average player, even the good player, you're gonna want premium.
Fun fact, Shozen, I think I have 10 alts who all run premium for crafting.
That's crazy. We were talking about those 10 alts, weren't we? Because what else did you do recently? Because we're talking about the market today. And you have recently got involved in the plot business, haven't you, Bogle? And
yes, well, there was so much discussion in the last month since this cartel, the Carleon cartel thing came up. So we did two things to look into this. First, we wanted to look whether or not the prices actually changed because of the cartel. We looked at a few things there. And secondly, I did a little bit of an experiment looking at some of the numbers. I actually was able to obtain my own plot and look at some of the values there, and I can share some of these. It's only been 10 days so far, but I'm hoping I can continue this experiment over the next month, and then maybe over the next month give you guys some more updates on the process of that.
And I was the first one to play devil's advocate on this and saying, Bogle, this isn't enough time to get really accurate information, because one of the things that you found, and this is like one of the glaring things right off the bat, is you realized how much of a difference in profitability there is depending on how much you pay for food.
Yes, there are a bunch of factors determining whether or not the plot business is profitable. But before we go into this, I just wanted to mention briefly the fairly simple observation whether or not stuff got more expensive because of the cartel.
Okay.
Right? That's something people were saying, oh no, the cartel is so expensive. The taxes are so crazy. Everything is more expensive for myself. And then is that actually true? And the basic thing is that a bunch of things actually didn't change in price.
Right.
A few things got more expensive by about 10 to 15%.
Some things got more expensive by about 30%. And I think that there's a reason that what we've noticed is, like, to not play coy, is that we've noticed that gear and weapons and stuff have not had the same kind of increase as your consumable goods. Now, consumable goods fall into two categories here. Is that we've seen that food has mostly stayed pretty much the same, with some spikes since the cartel has come in. But when you go to potions, like standard usable potions, like your Gigantify, your resistance potion, your poison pots, these things have all had significant increases in price, up to 30% increase on Gigantify potions. Things are going up significantly. Resistance pots, the 7.1s, going up ridiculous. Some of them have gone up a lot. We've seen less with some of the other 0.1s. It seems to be very fluctuant with the 0.1s because the way that the market responds to them, there's not as many sold, there aren't as many created, and they're more of a specialty good. And so it's harder to get long-term statistics on them. Whereas when you're having the flat sold, we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of these sold per day. And so the turnaround on them is much quicker, and the old stocks getting pumped out is much faster. And they seem to be the best, determining statistic that we can see where it shows an easy increase in price, and it shows the increase in price as consistent over a long period of time. Where the 0.1s
specifically,
are not as much.
we looked at just examples, the T4 poison potions and the Tier 8 poison potions, because that's a big volume we had, and there it was fairly obvious, the trend that Shozen just described, where the price for these climbed. We also looked through some gear, 6.1, Tier 5, a bunch of these, and not all of these gear and armor pieces have shown the same development. Some of them went up, some of them stayed the same. So we are thinking that maybe there's more supply still there, or more stockpiles still there that haven't, sold off yet. But for the 0.1s, that isn't affected too much, because there I think we think the price is mostly dictated by the arcane essences, and that's not related to the actual tax on the buildings. But as for our general, takeaway then from what the cartel did to the market prices in Carleon, specifically with crafted goods, it seems like there has been a slight increase, but not a major crazy thing that people have been hyping up, right? That's what everybody was afraid of. And now we don't know whether or not there's still enough supply around to just keep the prices low, or if that's a long-term development where prices just adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I was trying to show everybody who's watching on stream that the point ones are they have their own fluctuations that are independent of the additional cost from the markets. But when we look at the flats, you can see that about 2 weeks ago, everything starts going back up. They all really do start having to have a steady increase, with some pots, if you look at like Gigantify, even starting their increase earlier, just because of the change in meta.
Yeah, and another curious thing is that the normal resources, so the raw resources or the refined resources, either stayed the same or went down. And now you could argue that, well, if refining is more expensive, people aren't refining as much and rather choosing to sell their resources off directly. And then only the people who have associate rates or cheaper ways are buying these up. And in the end, there's not as much people refining resources or using these up to craft anymore. But yeah, that's one trend there. So if you were a guild that relied on buying your stuff in Carleon and then moving it to your plot, your life is actually cheaper. If you are a guild that relied on just buying stuff from the market in Carleon, then your life got a little bit more expensive.
Right. And go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to say that one of the things we had seen, but go ahead.
And I forgot the third part.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was going to say is because I think this might even be your point, is that one of the things we notice is that the easy to transport things like gear, because they don't take up huge amounts of weight to transport them, have gone and stayed the same. Like gear has stayed the same price because more people have now gone to their home plots in the Black Zone to create that gear, and they're not building it as much in Carleon. That's what like some of the crafters are straight telling me this. They're going, yeah, we've basically stopped using cities. We've quit the cities. We're taking our business to our home plots now. It's really been the impetus to move it. Like we even saw that group that's trying to break the Carleon cartel by having the islands and just giving everybody access to them and say you can all come use it. So there are people who are trying to get around these taxes. And for gear, it seems to be working. It's the things that you don't want to transport, like food. People make food out in the red zones. You see a lot of it because you need it out there to pay for your plot. So people are making it out there. It's not having a huge impact here in Carleon because there's just so much food made as well. But the pots, the potions and stuff, I imagine that most of that's made on islands and then crafted here in town and then sold in the Carleon market. And that's why we're seeing this increase compared to other things such as gear, which you get your resources out in the outlands, out in the Black Zones. You get it out there anyway. You drop it off in your home plot. You refine it out in your home plot. You craft it out in your home plot, and you bring it down here to sell. Like, stays similar the same because the profit margins, are even better now for you. You don't have to raise your prices to be competitive, because you're now making it cheaper because you went out to the outlands. Yes,
but
the increase in risk is a determining factor, but nobody really applies that into the cost of their goods when they sell them in Carleon. Yes.
There's this question, did this effort that some people made, like the Maga guys with that one plot and the guys with the Guild Islands with quote-unquote cheaper access, they all set out to quote-unquote kill the cartel, right? And the answer to that question, though, is still no, right? They did not succeed in achieving that goal. The taxes are still high. There is an alternative that is still fairly expensive, but the outset goal of these guys has not necessarily been achieved, because I think the Maga guys' thing is constantly out of supply, out of crafting capacity, and the other islands also are hard to go to. So I think we will have to wait until the next auction cycle to actually see whether or not the cartel will be dissolved. But it's just an interesting question to pose here. In some of the other cities, though, you have seen, especially in Bridgewatch, a bunch of plots going up for auction. They're not necessarily getting bought, but there we had some cartel situations as well, and this seems to be a different direction than Carleon. But the guys in Carleon are still holding tough, and I think the next interesting date in regards to that is on Tuesday, when we see whether or not people are deciding to sell or not.
Yeah.
In Carleon.
Who's got what plots and stuff and whatnot. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, it's... I think that this is a good pressure for players to go out there and start using their home plots and getting out into the black zones and making the trip and doing the transports and getting things out there. I think it's a good impetus to push people out there and do it and get people prepared for the new map. Because if you're a really good guild, say you're one of the best, and you think you're the super, best guild in the game, you're going to aim for the center of that wheel. You're going to build your hideout out there near the center of the wheel. You're going to make all your stuff at the center of the wheel. And it's going to be really hard to get back to the cities. You have a long way to go. The way that they're talking about this new map and the run from the outer spoke to the inner spoke, it's going to take you a while, and it's not going to be something you're going to want to do all the time. You're going to want to play out there in the black zones and maybe use some of these, what do they call them, frontier cities? And use some of the frontier cities as your city hub instead.
Well, you can make stuff there, I think, right? They're not introducing new cities. It's just for storage.
And I gotta talk about what Fun Stealer is saying, that you build hideouts along the way, the entire way, to make safe zones. Yeah, that was one of the things we actually talked about as a thing you could do. But the idea of trying to do that and maintain that is going to be very, very difficult, considering that those tower time zones are probably going to be at the similar time. At the same time, so that you can either defend one tower or another tower. Maybe even if you're a super big alliance, you can defend 3 towers. But how are you going to defend 12 towers on your way to the center of the map? That's going to be really hard to do. If you can pull that off and you have that safe zone for 12 zones and hide out every one and don't have to worry about your hideout getting attacked because you control those towers and you're the big bad boss man, that would be really freaking impressive. And maybe 1 or 2 alliances will be able to pull it off, but I don't think it's going to be common. I that was one of the things I thought of first, and I brought it up too, and I was like, they were like, well, check yourself, buddy, because it's going to be really hard to maintain that line if all those, towers are live at the same time. That'll be rough. So, can it be done? Possibly. Do I think it's likely? No.
Yeah. Shozen, we can end the show here. We have some other data that I started to collect, but I think I want to talk about this next week. Just as a heads up for everybody, I will be keeping track about my expenses of this little tool maker, my food that I purchase, and other math that I will be doing over the next month or so, and I will try to keep reporting that in a public interest matter, assuming I can, keep that one plot that I have right now. Yeah, so that's something I'm trying to get to you guys, because there has been a lot of discussion in regards to that, and if I can do my part and supply some public knowledge and some numbers there, I think that's good.
Yeah, I think it'd be great too, but I do think we're going to need more data, because I think there's a huge difference between buying food at market price, buy market price, like just straight buy it, and then the buy order market price, which is like 30% less. And the difference between that is, are you going to make profit or not? And if you're not making profit, it's much harder to figure out how to.
This is another whole discussion for a whole Thursday show, maybe the next one or the one after, going into all the 15 factors that determine whether or not you're making profit in the plot business.
Is there a cartel competing against you? Yes or no? check here. How much did you pay for your food? Use this sliding scale.
Are you part of the cartel? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes or no, maybe. What location are you in the ring of profitability? Are you in the third ring? If so, you get no profit. Doesn't matter what you set your percentage to. Nobody will look at your house. Or your building, whatever it is.
Are you a guild that uses 20 to 50 guys every day on your own thing?
Yeah, that was how you determined that it was going to be profitable, right? Like, if you have 20 guys in your guild, each of which use all their focus all month long to make bags, you will get profit. Yeah, ding, ding, ding. Let's let the world know. If you have 30 guys...
Yeah, that's one of the preliminary takeaways, that if you are actually utilizing the plot, you are in the current condition of the current market, then you're it's a reasonable investment to run a station in Carleon for your own production purposes, right? If you are just owning it to make money from the fees, from the taxes people pay, then it's a very, very close and arguable situation where you may how do you say, may very well end up
losing,
being break even or losing or making slight profit based on the numbers you are assuming.
Yeah, it's like when
and that math is really hard.
It's the you know, what is it? Frank Sinatra was giving us his numbers. I believe a month ago, and he was saying, yeah, you just don't make profit. You lose money every month even at these numbers, even at the cartel's numbers, you lose money, and you do. If you buy food at market value, at buy market value, not buy order market value, because there's a huge difference. If you buy it at the straight market value, you will lose money, even at 200% taxes for a tool maker. It's kind of crazy how much like this stuff costs. You got to be really looking to shave every advantage that you can. You have to get every advantage that you can in this and cut the cost as much as possible. And like you said, Bogul, the best way to do this, hands down, is to have a guild that has people who can use the shop. And then there you go. Then that's how you're really making the profit. All right, but let's get our butts over to the overtime show and end this show right now, because we are past 18:30. So you guys can check us out Monday through Friday right here on Twitch TV /Albion Online for the AO Daily Show, where we cover news and events and drama. Yes, I understand today maybe have been a little light. We were doing a lot of market stuff today. It's a slow news week this week, isn't it, Bogul?
That's fine.
Yeah, not every week can there be lots and lots of drama. Not every week can there be a brand new patch or a new map introduced. Sometimes it's just about what's going on in the world of Albion today. And today, people are paying high taxes. All right, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back in like 2 minutes with overtime. We just have to do a quick bit of bookkeeping. All right, thank you. See you in 2.